Have you ever wondered how you can create AI images which look so real you almost can't tell anymore if they are real or not? In today's video, I'm going to show you a simple and easy workflow which you can use to create highly realistic images with Flux and ComfyUI. And the best thing is, it's entirely free, so you can use it on your own PC and you don't have to pay anything for it. Having said that, let's dive right into it. Alright, so for this video I plan to show you first, really quick in ComfyUI, how you can use actually the whole workflow and how it's handy for you to create those amazing images. The second part of the video will be the whole installation part, which is quite easy to understand, but it's a bit tedious with all the tasks that you need to install. We will first quickly dive into ComfyUI and then do the whole workflow and then do the installation. So actually the first thing which we need to do is navigate to Civil AI and download the Flux UltraRealPhoto LoRa project. And we don't even need to download the LoRa itself, because a really great thing in ComfyUI and Stable Diffusion in general of Flux is that we can drag and drop images from any web browser basically, as long as it's a JPEG. Everything that you see in this video, I will link it for you in the video description, so don't worry about that. To show you this quickly, so when we have this open and we have ComfyUI installed, which I will also show you later, it's really easy to do, but basically you just need to select one of those images here. So as you can see already, they look super real in my opinion, and they have this nice style that they are shot on an old camera maybe or on an old smartphone. And then we can select one of those images that we would maybe like to recreate for now, maybe her, why not, with a cigarette in her mouth. And only thing you need to do then to get the whole workflow working actually is that you drag and drop this image into ComfyUI. First thing that it will tell us is that we are missing some node types here, but that's actually no problem at all, because most of the times we can just go here to the manager itself, like here on the top, click on there and then install missing custom nodes, and then you can install here the nodes itself. For the poolet workflow, which is also included in the workflow, but we won't need it to create those images, make always sure to restart in ComfyUI, but then you have it installed, you can directly use it. To actually then get started, we can first of course then delete this poolet part here, which we don't need. To get started, we have to understand a few points. So when you from scratch would actually start with ComfyUI, you would see probably something like this. And this is the basic nodes which are always included in ComfyUI to create an image. So we will always have a kind of checkpoint here where we will load our AI model, which is kind of the recipe, which will tell then the rest of it what image to create. And besides the checkpoint, which is always included and always necessary, we have here these two clip boxes here. So one is for the positive side, so this is where we will type our prompt in to have the description and the AI to know what to prompt, and here we have a negative prompt. We also have here empty latent image, which will kind of tells the resolution that we will need. We have here the sampler, which is kind of a small render engine, let's say it like this, which will then define the sampling, like how much quality we need into our images, and also like the seed phrase and much more stuff. Here we can also say if it should render on CPU maybe or GPU on our PC. So basically it's really just about the sampling part. And then we have the VAE decode, which will then bring everything back into one image and squeeze it together to actually then have a nice image output here. Because between this part here and the whole part here where it goes through the sampler and also through the latent space itself, it will then encode the image first to create the image, and then it will at the end do the decode again to have an existing image that we can look at. So because when we're going now back to our workflow, we can actually see we have way more nodes here, but basically it's still kind of the same thing which we are using here. So here on the diffusion model, that's kind of our checkpoint, and you also see it's already labeled here as checkpoint, because this is where we will load our AI model in. Here in this kind it's the Flux Dev Safe Tensor, and this is a diffusion model, and it's kind of a group of AI models which are fall under those diffusion models, and this is the reason we are using here then a load diffusion model and not just a load checkpoint node. So just that you understand why we're using it here. Otherwise we have here dual clip loader. This is because in the diffusion model, as you can see, we don't have a clip option here like we have here in the checkpoint node. And this is why we need to create in Flux a dual clip loader, which then includes the clip models that we will need. Then we have here a LoRa loader model only. And this is where we will load in our LoRa. And we have two ways to do that. And this is the first way, that we will just load in the LoRa. As you can see, it's loaded in here. So it will take the Flux AI model and then apply the LoRa in the next step. But we can also use the LoRa loader stack in case we would like to have multiple LoRas. So you can have different styles of AI looks kind of, and then staple them together to have a combined image then with different styles, which is pretty cool. It's like a mixer that you can use to blend different modes on top of each other. And as well, you can see here we have the clip text encode. Here we also see the prompt that was used for the image that we saw in the example over here. This is basically the prompt that was used for it. Then in the next step, we have here the sampler custom advanced, which is the same SDK sampler, which I showed you here. The only real important options is here the seed, where we can always exchange the seed phrase when we want to have an entire new generation. When we prompt on the same seed, then it will stay kind of the same look. Then we have here the CFG guide. This is just controlling how much we want to have the positive and negative affected on it. You can just leave it at 1. This is the best setting already for it, and you can just leave it like this. Then it's important that you use here the model DPMPP2M, which is using then your GPU, which is most of the times faster than when you use your CPU, like the older mode here. And then we have here the basic scheduler. And this is an important one because over here you can see steps. On steps, this is controlling kind of the quality that we would like for our image to generate. And it's here set to 40, which is quite a high value already. For a first test before I start prompting images, I always set it to a value of 8. Don't go lower than that because I experienced then it's getting really weird quality and not good anymore. And then you also have here the empty latents image, which defines our resolution for the image that we would like to have. And you can also choose here the aspect ratio basically that you would like to have. The guys that are building up this workflow, they will also have like a fast group bypasser here. And this is really cool because here we can actually enable or disable what we would like to have. We will use this later when we will use the upscaler over here, but I will explain this to you in a second. To actually start now our prompt, only thing we need to do then is that we hit here Q and see if we get any errors or something. As you can see, it's directly giving us an error because I forgot to tell you that of course you always need to recheck that we have the right stuff plugged in here. So by default it's plugged in here in a Google T5. We can also use this one which I just installed. It's a T5 safe tensor and this will also do the job. So just make sure to select this one. Go here to the clip A safe tensor to make this work. Make sure that you have here Flux selected, and also here just make sure that you select this one, right? Then here also I think it's a different name. It's not UltraReal. In my case it's just UltraRealPhoto. And as you can see we get no error message anymore because now it's actually working. Okay, great. And this is our first result, and obviously we already know kind of the look because here is the final look when you use it with like 40 steps, but we get kind of a sense at least. Also we use the random seed phrase, so this is why it's not looking exactly like in this direction here, and it's mixing it a bit. So to try out now our own prompts, there's a really cool way how we can do this, because we can use actually ChatGPT for this. Because I searched out some prompts to achieve great results with this workflow in Flux. And this is like to use these keywords here like amateurish photo, low lighting, GoPro lens, so smeared background, you know, to make it as natural as we can to get this kind of real photo look. And I will just tell ChatGPT that it should include those kind of keywords here in the prompt that we can then use. Give me 10 prompts, include keywords, keep the prompt style. And then ChatGPT will create us 10 different versions now, and we can choose then from it what we would like to have. Of course, you can also describe the prompt what you would like to see, if it's a man or woman or even a house or city, whatever you would like to have. The more detailed you go, the better the results. For example, let's say this young woman, early 20s, wearing a casual t-shirt, standing with a skateboard on a quiet suburban street. Cue it and see what we get. Okay, great. And this is our result. result, and as we can see, we have quite a smeared foreground right now, which is a bit distracting, I would say. And also the quality is not that high, but this is what we expected with like just 8 steps. So let's maybe remove the smeared foreground over here and just say something like eerie amateurish photo, which works most of the times great. Okay, and this is now our next result, and as you can see, this is working better. I think she's not in focus, which is a bit distracting, so I would change this for the next round, but then I think we can go to the higher value and then see what we get. Let's say she is in focus, and then warm sunset light filtering through the trees. Then we can now increase the step size over here to 40. Okay, great. And this is our result, what we have. Of course, it's still kind of blurry here, but we can fix that now with the upscale. But I think it's showing really well, like, you know, the proportions are matching, and also it's looking really like a real image. You can also see here some of the examples I also prompted with other prompts, where I prompted, for example, a woman in a bar or a man, you know, leaning against the fence and stuff like this. So you can prompt basically anything you want and it will give you great results. So as we can see, it's a bit low res right now. So what we could do now as well as a last step for it is that we go here to the enable upscale option, then enable it, and then we will see that we have here activated nodes. So first we need to choose here our upscale model, and here I installed the 4x NMKD CX200K, which I will also link you. So this is also great. You can also give it different steps depending how much resolution you want, and also set here the upscale by to the factor that you want to upscale it. Here you see actually the upscaled result in comparison to the not upscaled result. If you would like to, then let me know, or if you have any questions regarding the workflow or something is not working for you. But besides that, we will dive now into the installation part and what you will need. So first part of the installation is actually that you need to install ComfyUI on your PC. So you can just go here under the GitHub page comfy.org, and this is the ComfyUI desktop beta version, which is really great because this is the easiest version to install. And then you just hit here download on the one you need, for example here the Windows one, and then you just need to go through these steps and install it. The next step is that you then need to install the Flux Dev version, which is the AI model we are using at the very beginning of our workflow. This page, which I will also link you as well, then you need to go to files and versions, hit here install on the Flux Dev version. Just to note that for most of the times you will need quite some VRAM to run the workflow, so it's recommended to have at least 12 to 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Anyways, of course you can use a reduced version of Flux Dev for 8 gigabytes as well. Once you have done that, actually what you can do then as well is that you go then into ComfyUI, then you go to help, and then you can go here to open folder and then open models folder, because this is where we need to put it in, and then the folder will open already, and then you see here a folder called checkpoints. This is where you can then copy and paste in the model that you will need. By the way, as well, you can also directly here install the VAE model that we need. So here's a safe tensor, which you can then also directly install here. And this is actually also under the models folder, but then you have to go to VAE, double click it, and then put it in here basically. Okay, next step is then to install the clip models, which we will need. So this is on this page here, which I will also link you. When you have lower VRAM, then you will need the 5XXL FP8. And when you have higher VRAM, then you can go with the FP16. Definitely make sure to download one of these here, and as well the clip L safe tensor, which we will need. So under here you will find a LoRa actually that you need to download, so you can also click just this button here. And what you will need then is of course to put it also in the LoRa folder, which you will also find under models, LoRa's folder, and then you will paste in here the UltraRealPhoto safe tensor, and then you have it as well installed. And then we are already at the last model that you will need for this workflow, which is the upscale model. So here I'm using the 4x MHKD CX. So you will find it under this link here, which I will also link you down below, and then you can just hit here on download and install the model under upscalers, upscale models, and then you can paste in here the upscale models. And only thing you need to do then is just go to Manager, restart your ComfyUI, and then you should see all the models in your notes. And then of course, if you would like to see your final generations in a folder, you can also do this by when you go to Help, Open Folder, and then Open Output Folder. And here you will see all the generations that you did in ComfyUI, and you will also see here a Flux folder. And here you can see all the images I generated. So this is working really well. If you have any questions, let me know down below. If you like this video and found it useful, then make sure to subscribe to this channel to support me and to keep this channel running so I can keep doing what I'm doing, and actually see you on the next video.